Okay, let's do our usual morning roundtable. So I think for everyone knows the format. We're just going to discuss the sessions that we went to yesterday, jot down some notes in the Etherpad, and then review any sessions today that we should make sure we have a presence at. So from yesterday, I think the big session that most of us were at were our versions and flavors. So we decided that we're going to definitely go with 3.5, and then once 3.5 releases, which will be probably halfway through our dev cycle, we'll reevaluate and look at if 3.6 is a possibility. If it is, then we'll try to push for 3.6, but definitely 3.5 for now. And then our flavors, we're looking at being able to eliminate the virtual flavor and actually roll that back into, I guess, a generic package. And then we're also probably looking at pulling in real-time current flavor packet that needs some additional discussions that are not good today.
And you ran into some hiccups on the collapsing of the flavors.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there's a no idle option for virtual that is important to EC2, so we're still exploring whether we can turn that off.
I also went to the precise release session. Just it was more geared towards the release team and what worked well for this cycle, what did improvements that were going to happen to the ISO tracker, testing, better communication lines. Nothing that really impacted our team in Germany. I think the only thing that's going to impact us going forward is our upload of our development kernels to the proposed pocket, and then how we'll have that process streamlined, so maybe we don't have to ping in our iPad and every time we pocket copy. But that discussion is happening in this one. And then Brad, I think you went to the Arsenal report.
Just fled.
Yeah, he said that actually turned out to be.
I think that was.
It's good. We're kind of aligned on what needs to be done, and beyond that.
Yeah. Anything else that was interesting yesterday?
We determined the mechanism for upgrading PAE capable CPUs with a pre-installed hook-in meta package. And it would also detect non-PAE capable CPUs and stop the upgrade.
Anybody have anything else? And then we were going to have an ARMS server discussion, but we're going to table that until tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sandy, you need your questions. The other one comes tomorrow.
I think same time.
Yeah, if we got the players, let's just do it.
You want to just do it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Andy's working on the archive stuff.
All right.
We can go.
So I'll kick things off. So our ARM server right now, we have two different platforms, Armada XP and Calzada. Whenever we actually get hardware, both rules prior to their own topic range and flavor kernel.
Okay.
Why their own branch? Why not mainland? How big is the patch? Michael was telling me it's not that big.
It depends on the SoC.
For Calzada, it's not that big from what I understand.
Right. Armada's larger.
Armada's quite larger.
Right.
Like a couple hundred patches kind of thing.
Is it impacting core ARM Arch, or is it all off in its own?
Typically, they are all on their own. Every now and then you get an SoC vendor that does something stupid. You got to go out of the core ARM branch. But
What was that
very often?
characteristic of Calzada then?
Yeah, Calzada is actually very good about making sure that it's just theirs. Calzada is actually upstream.
Maybe just 2 and 3 patches on next week.
How about Armada?
Oh.
I know you guys
None of our models upstream.
So the criteria for incorporating this into the main branch of the kernel is whether or not changes will impact other flavors.
Right.
So if all of those patches are isolated, you just aren't on it, then we can carry it out.
By being its own flavor, what would it impact other flavors? TIO not 4.
That's what I'm saying. If there are core ARM architectural changes required by ARM, then that would have a regression potential for other flavors like Ubuntu. But if it's off in its own subdirectory, then
Okay.
Yeah, the only other ones that I could see coming up during this cycle, there might be, there's some debate about whether or not there'll be a Samsung kernel. There's some debate about whether or not there'll be another TI kernel or an NVIDIA kernel. Yeah.
A lot of talk, but I can give 2 for sure right now.
And the unfortunate thing is that when these guys, when they finally decide to start talking, it's like, well, we'll do it in the next week's release, right?
so you really need to see the patch before we can evaluate whether or not we can bring it in.
Okay. Armada's already in Maine. So.
Completely, fully, all I need is a set of configs.
Armada.
I'm checking it.
There should be a kernel out there.
Yeah.
Or are you saying it's actually in upstream?
Well, in 3.3.
No, 5.
Whatever we did on 3.5.
So Marvell's been horrible about these stuff upstream, and that's one of the things we're trying to teach them.
We had to fight with them to get them to rebase on the precise 3.2 to make it in time for the release.
Yeah.
Or it was going to be 12.04 with the 11 kernel. But flow-wise, we're going to try and what you guys do with like the other map branches. Rebase is your rebase. Keep going on.
It's less of a maintenance hassle if it's in the same branch. But if you have to do a rebase, it's not too bad. But it does take some time.
Okay. The other point is none of our actions, I said. We're all reference boards. So the goal of this is we maintain this reference kernel that whenever it goes off and says, okay, I want to buy a Marvell or Armada board. Here's your reference kernel that you can start from and start playing with. And then we may have to go tuck away a kernel in a way like we do for other projects. But we wanted to keep these out in the open.
So we'd actually be building a kernel that no one uses or can test.
Unless they were using the, well, yeah, if they were at the actual dev boards, capable hardware, yeah.
So it's going to be pretty difficult for us to test for regressions.
That's the other half of the story. How many of these Armada boards do we have? 2 or 4?
We had 4.
Pete wants 2.
Yeah, I know.
So, and if we want to get any further, we have to move. He said he can do it with 1.
Right. Yeah.
So there would actually be one in QA.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can test for regressions. The kernel team doesn't have all the hardware. We really have to
That would
have
have at least one in QA, right?
Yeah, we have to have a vehicle to test for core.
There's 1. Pete said 1 would be the same. Is 1 staying for right now until we can get 1?
It's his call. It's got to have to be safe.
Back to you guys. Using 1. You can still get access to it.
Well, especially since more hardware that can come online.
What about Calculated?
Well, yeah, so this is that one's we're only going to get one for a while. And I guess this is kind of one of the strange things with these guys is the machines will actually have multiple nodes, right? So we can actually share the machine, right? But some of the drivers, so like for one company we're working with in Taiwan, one of their drivers is actually for the fabric that's on the back plate. Testing that's going to be a pain without having a bunch of nodes talking at the same time. So we're going to see if we can get a separate chassis for each vendor, but I'm not sure what we're going to be able to pull off.
I mean, I know a lot all this stuff's expensive, but I say we're gonna hold a kernel, we need 2 at least.
Right. Well, I think for this vendor, we're actually asking for 5 units. So we'll see what they actually. Oh, okay. I think it's 7. My guess.
Yeah.
As long as we have some hardware, and I don't want to produce a distro kernel that we can't do.
I'll work on getting the one on for you guys for others. Calculator, it's whenever we actually get here. Versioning was the only other question I had for you guys. We're using 16.
Well, if it goes mainline, then we've seen the API as the distro kernel.
What if they never do mainline?
If we carry a certain flavor,
Yeah.
it's arbitrary.
Okay. I think the calculator stuff is figured out more than the mainline, but the Marvell stuff maybe.
Yeah, the APIs are arbitrary. You just can't have the name conflicts.
And Ike's been posting these on Zinc, under the OEM section. You guys okay with that, or we should go for it under Okay.
And if we take over the management, we'll put them under Ubuntu, right? Because that's where all of our kernels come from.
Oh, see, we don't want to task it. Try to help you out. The only other thing he was concerned about was security. Since we are going to follow,
So
standard SRU kernels updates, we're going to do
So
rebases.
you'll just lag by a day or two.
Is there anything else we need to do since this is going to our first go at this ourselves? Is there anything we need to do or be prepared for CVs to get notified of them and making sure that branches are getting added to the right buttons?
So Ertone and Brad have pulled the tool set for managing CPU state, which flavors have had it applied, so you need to get integrated into that. Just, it's going to be a lot like the TIO platform.
And we've already done the work in our scripting to do that, our models to do it, so.
You've already added that?
Yeah. So look at, our tracking bugs are now, derivative information in those tracking bugs that basically say, that those kernels are processed in that sort of thing. So we build up, for each CVE, there's a bug associated with it. And it's got a list of all of the tasks that happen that apply to that CVE. So party, loosen, whatever. And also any derivative. So it's also LTS backward kernel, TIO map kernel. Those are all listed in that. And the process is just, if it applies, then you go in and do the work on it. It's already been, if it doesn't apply to CVEs, not valid for that, just invalid. It's a very lightweight process.
But it's already all, you already have it all set up?
Yep.
Is this where you see the branches get added? You see the Mat4 branch get added to the plug?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I believe so, because I believe when your change log gets processed, that the correcting will be done to those bugs. The state will be changed to fixed release. That's when it gets in the CVE database, will get updated. There's a CVE, there's also a CVE matrix, but it shows all CVEs, what different status for them.
And I think the last question that Andy brought up was currently in the Armada kernel containers is listed as kernel-team at lowstuffengine.com.
It's already been fixed.
Are you going to change it or do the same?
Kernel-T? No, for the Armada XP, it's, you guys already have something of which I
looked yesterday, the package is still, thought it might be a good idea to just keep them all one in the same place, so we're all looking at the same. Maybe we're talking about different.
Depends on whether you want us to help review patches.
I would certainly appreciate it.
And send it over.
Yeah, I'm looking at,
It's very much like we do for TIO before.
You're talking about Virginia? Yeah, it still says.
yeah. Does it matter?
It does.
Exactly.
For practical purposes, the only people that will be uploading patches are
Yeah, I
There's really,
I mean, that is all I love. How to use MySQL on a cloud service or just MySQL?
What, Mike?
I mean, this topic is related to MySQL run on the cloud service or?
No, we're talking about a separate kernel for an ARM server. Do you have any questions?
So, one of the things that came up from the kernel folks at Marvell was they need to change some of the functionality partway through the cycle, and they've got some patch that they want to apply. I think it's going to handle that. I mean, I'm assuming people want to review it for security reasons and everything else, but
well, this presumes they're going to have a separate branch.
yes.
So it applies to a single board or single platform.
Right.
So it's fairly easy to test for regression. We'll look at the patch and they want to do something totally practical.
Right.
But if it's there's a lot of stuff that they're going to be doing at the BSP that I don't really have the knowledge to tell them whether or not it's the right thing to do. I just have to assume they know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of this stuff is just me, fixing the way the DMA timing works. Okay,
Yes.
fine, right, we don't care. As long as it's not getting rid of the ARM.
Are the rules for a flavor like this stringent for us, or as something like?
It's all about regression potential. That's why it's so anal about the mainline kernel, because it has the potential to affect a whole bunch of platforms. Whereas if
Yeah, it's in their specific brand.
Marvell breaks their platform, well, they keep moving.
They've asked about bug fixes and security fixes, that kind of thing. But they also said, well, you might want to add new features to the MKS kernel.
I guess it depends on the magnitude of the feature.
Well, right. And that's kind of, it kind of depends on obviously. They're talking about perhaps enabling new drivers and things like that.
So on that forward, it's kind of one of the same process.
Yeah.
We carry a
Yeah.
big PSP patch set for that. And it morphs significantly sometimes. I depend on how to make that call.
Yeah, so I guess it runs on your team person. And or something, I think that's all.
Yeah, well, we gotta take the changes, and then when I say the follow the whole process, send them out to the kernel team just to have an extra set of eyes on as well. Yeah, so that's what we do have right now. We don't have access for that because that takes a small area, but we have a private church that we host. So if they do want to use a private code, there's a place to hold it, and then I can set up a sync script that pushes what can help off to the kernel. Once Marvell does more code, I'll really follow and usually give you no access.
So is the story for like
same process. While we use patching. Ike is the lead for this flavor, but we have another guy in the team, Yanni, who's going to be helping out as well. Yanni Moses. That's what I go with. And there may be another at some point, but hardware to be seen.
One's coming up here in the near term, or probably outside of Kernel, and maybe
Well, if it's up to that property, then let it step away. Or else there's people that let them get it from other brands. If it's just through
So if Armada is mainline, that means that we'll be uploading it and it goes into main. Right. What's going to happen with Marvell or Universe? Who is responsible for doing the uploads?
Ike's going for GPU, and Yanni is already Yanni's for that, right? Sorry, is Yanni for that? Yanni?
Yeah, he's the co-developer, so
Yeah,
that's all
okay.
right.
And he's going for GPU.
So you guys are, OEM is going to maintain Marvell. Because that makes it main. It's just a commitment.
Feel free to yell for missing something. As you do.
Okay. That pretty much covers it.
You want to pick a version number for Calzada? Now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brian has already said it. Pediatric.
1700?
Pediatric.
18.
Pediatric.
800.
Yeah. And pediatric for the
It can be any.
Whatever you want.
Yes. Easiest if it doesn't conflict with something else, because everything's distinguished by the flavor. So there's very little possibility of namespace collision. But, 800 is your API range. You don't want it to be 800 for ONF4 and 800 for Calzada, because people will confuse it. Because not many folks really understand what the EDF does. We have a wiki page for all the APIs are listed and stuff, so make sure you pick one, write it added.
Yeah, I have already updated the pediatric for that. Because we have an upload for the hyperlink, so I will update the pediatric for Calzada and
We can reuse some of the earlier ranges too, because Marvell is, the dub is falling out, and Rescale, and there's a few of those. You can even change the API number administrator, it's a repo, we'll clean up all packages. Is that a wrap?
So after this, we have Colin's probably doing the firmware testing. Other than that,
Refine our SRE process to be more agile. Appears to be something that will be honest.
okay.
I think you need to integrate Kanban.
What?
You need to integrate Kanban.
Whatever.
11 o'clock, there's a improved certification testing tools and processes for external testing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So I went to one yesterday, I didn't bring it up.
not terribly useful, but it was basically about extending checkbox to be a real kid and install tests to run with people volunteering their hardware. And it looked to me like a non-starter, but I think it's kind of good for some.
Noon doesn't work too.
You can sit down.
3 o'clock, we have our Delta review. If there's any,
We don't have a lot of people from our regular team this time, so I'll come down and present.
okay.
We're holding.
Okay. 14. Should probably have one of us attend the general exort plans session. I'll go to that for sure.
The UEFI update at 12 from area to tell just general state of the union of where UEFI is. Not taking it in, I think.
At 12?
Yeah. Junior farm too. They got deleted yesterday.
And then at 5 o'clock, we're going to have a LTS backport testing in full.
What is that about? What is it? Testing in general?
Testing in general, how are they going to execute testing of the kernel X stack?
Well, that cert has not tested in the LTS backwards, so
Yeah.
straight.
Pardon?
So,
Pardon? Any other time?
why would you have a 5?
Google wants to take me out for drinks.
Oh, geez.
And I want to go to that session. Just have to turn Google down.
Dude, priorities. Just bring your drink to the session.
No love.
It's a work day.
It's 5 o'clock.
Somewhere.
Then I think that's it.
What if I invited you to this free beer session? Like, go.
I have the new boss.
I had a question. I'm Neil McBurnett, and a couple months ago I sent out an email to the Ubuntu UDS list about something I wrote called test kernel. I'm not a kernel guy. I don't know the folks in here how to drop by, but I was working with, is Joseph Salisbury here?
Two.
I worked with you on a regression, and you did a big bisect of it, and again, I'm not a big kernel person, so it was getting tiresome, rebooting this little box that's kind of slow over and over, and many steps for each kernel to put in there. And so I wrote a little Python script that would figure out from a given directory on the web which version to pull something from, and install it locally, and set the kernel. One of the more helpful things is to set the kernel to reboot into that on the next boot. So I could just kind of press a button once and then come back a while later and see if it was done. I haven't seen other stuff like they're out there, and I'm just wondering if anybody had any feedback, or if I'm missing something, or if we want to put it up on one of the wiki pages to encourage people to do testing on obscure hardware.
I know we talked about it.
I pointed Joe at it.
Yeah.
Use it. Because the reboot thing, just setting the grub option is kind of a pearl.
Right.
It definitely needs a pointer and some documentation on the wiki, because that'll get wider viewed if it's discoverable.
Right.
The other thing you can do, in general, if you have something like that that you want to have exposed to Google search really well, this is just a general tip. Submit question to Ask Ubuntu, which is Stack Exchange,
Right.
about it, and then have someone else answer the correct answer, and then it'll get upvoted, and it'll show up really high in search results and be discoverable for other people also.
Yeah, I've got a lot of good mechanisms to get it out there if it makes sense. I just wanted some feedback from someone to say, yeah, actually it works on my machine, and And actually, to help with the trickiest part is now that we have a multi-level menu thing for reboots, you know, if the version you're going to get ends up being the default, then the way that you have it reboot into the next one is a certain string, and otherwise it might be in the submenu and you have to have a different string. And I just didn't know really even how to figure that out. So, you know, if we could address that, I think that it would probably be useful for an even wider audience, and you know, just welcome any feedback.
Joe opted in 6 and 12, July 6th, and we don't want for grace flags all at the same time.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I know that at your end, that's a lot of. I mean, and in principle, this could be extended to, you know, incorporate the bisecting itself or to do other stuff. But
that might be a little more difficult. Sometimes the bisection takes actual interaction to make a choice about.
Yeah, I'm not.
Can't fully it can be close.
And is there a package that it would naturally belong in? Right now it's just a gist on GitHub, just because that was
we can include it. We have a kernel team tools repository, and we keep a lot of our scripts and stuff there. All of our web management scripts, a lot of build stuff. So that'd be good. And it's called.
So kernel build.
It's kernel-t or k-team-tools. Yeah.
K-team-tools.
There's a lot of random stuff in there.
Yeah, there's some crack. It needs some.
You said what?
The problem we have is that out of the 15 to 20 people who use that, nobody knows which tools people are still using. So
Right.
I'd find out, just delete them. Pretty soon you know. What happened to my script?
Neil, what's your
Neil, N-E-A-L, dot McBurnett, M-C-B-U-R-N-E-T-T, at, what did I say? Neil at McBurnett.org, sorry.
We're ready.
Done with me.
Yep.
Okay, never mind. Don't yell that into the mic.